This is the Poetry and Song Swap, and I'd like to introduce David here. I'm not sure which side you are on for people watching, but from me looking at the screen, you're just here. Hello, David. Welcome.
Hello, Simon. Thank you. What a great privilege to be with tonight. I can't wait. Hi, everybody. I'm so
Great.
glad to be part of this, of one of Simon's celebrations. Yep.
We dreamed this up last summer, bringing poetry and song together. So I'm going to kick us off on with the first song. Our theme tonight, given that Imbolc is round the corner, Imbolc, the 1st, 2nd of February, and it's the new year, our theme is thresholds. Our wisdom awakens, our memory returns. Within these open hearts, a sacred fire burns. And the way is simple, the way is clear, the way is humble, the way is here. May the fountain within my being be ever flowing, pure, life-giving to all. And may the fragrance blossoming from my soul be softening and lightening the hearts of all. And may the world I weave with the breath I breathe bring beauty, bring beauty. And may the steps I walk on this sacred earth be at peace, be in peace. Our wisdom awakens, our memory returns. Within these open hearts, a sacred fire burns. And the way is simple, the way is here, the way is humble, the way is here. That's by Hannah Leigh, a wonderful person that I met in Scotland when I was there in October. David, have you got a poem for us?
I've always got a poem for us, Simon. Thank you. What we thought we'd do tonight is sing a little and read a little poem and just go back and forth. We haven't rehearsed this. We haven't scripted this. We're just going to try to listen to each other. We're drawn together from our love for one another and from our deep love of this work. For me, always the invocation is from Rumi, and sometimes it's this poem. It's a poem you probably know, and even so, hear it maybe for the first time. Today, like every other day, we wake up empty and frightened. Today, like every other day, we wake up empty and frightened. Don't open the door to your study and take down a book. Pick up a musical instrument instead and play. Let the beauty that we love be what we do. There are 100 ways to kneel down and kiss the ground. So our theme tonight, we've been playing with this idea of thresholds. This time coming into the new year is a threshold time, and often a time where people are resolved or are in inquiry or looking back on what's happened and looking forward to what might be. The world is in a great threshold right now, as you know. There's so many places in our civilized life that are on hold. Our politics, our economy, our ecology, everything is in a threshold place, as though we're waiting for the next thing to come. How do we bear a threshold? Rumi says, every day we wake up empty and frightened. Every evening we are exhausted and worried about the next day. Don't go to the study and pick up a book. Start your reading practice. No, could we just pick up a musical instrument and play? Let the beauty that we love be what we do.
I have a
Let the
song.
beauty that we love be what we do. There are 100 ways, Simon. There are 1,000 ways. There are a million ways to kneel and kiss the ground.
Let the beauty you love be what you do. This is by Betsy Beckman. She asked me to record it for her. I don't think I've ever sang it to you, David. Let the beauty you love be what you do. Let the beauty you love be what you do. There's another part that goes like this. Beauty, 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 beauty. Let the beauty you love be what you do. Let the beauty you love be what you do. Let the beauty you love be what you do. Let the beauty you love be what you do. And if you have a high voice, which I don't, I'm excusing myself before I even start my falsetto. Beauty, 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 beauty. Let the beauty you love be what you do. Let the beauty you love be what you do. Let the beauty you love be what you do. Let the beauty you love be what you do. Beauty, beauty, beauty. I love the way that we sometimes call people beautiful. Have you heard that one before, David?
I have not heard that one before. Thank you.
Yeah, Betsy Beckman.
And that's just the invitation when we're in these places of in between. The words about threshold are we're neither here nor there. I told you this story earlier, Simon, this image that comes from our ancient grandmothers and grandfathers, the gates at Rome held in stone over the entrance, over the archway. There was a stone carving of Janus, the god that we celebrate when we say January. Janus, the god of entrances and exits, just with two heads, the two-headed god, looking forward and looking back in absolute suspense, and holding the energy of the threshold moment that we're in this season and in so many places in our lives. I have a cousin who's passing the world this evening. It's a kind of threshold that if we're awake to it, we realize the holiness of everything. And sometimes the best thing we can do in the threshold, and of course what comes then, right? As Rumi says, sometimes we're just frightened. Sometimes we feel empty. Sometimes we're exhausted or depressed. I think you all have been through the pandemic, and you probably know some of these feelings, as I certainly have known. And what we claim tonight, Simon and I claim, is that two moves, at least, help us in this transition time. One is attention to what's beautiful, to really seek and celebrate and live into what is beautiful in our own lives. I'm not a skilled musician like Simon, but when he sings, my soul recognizes something that it's not always awake to. And the other move is to stop to let the threshold be a place of stopping, and therefore an invitation to listening. This is another poem by Rumi that I don't have in my memory. I'm going to have to look at the page a little bit, but it's called A Voice Through the Door. And Simon, I think you know this one. If you don't, let's memorize it. Sometimes, Rumi says, sometimes you hear a voice through the door calling you. As fish out of water hear the waves. Sometimes you hear a voice through the door calling you. As fish out of water hear the waves. Or a hunting falcon hears the drum. Come back, come back, come back, come back. This turning towards what you deeply love saves you. Read the book of your life, which has been given you. A voice comes to your soul saying, lift your foot, cross over. Move into emptiness of question and answer and question. A voice comes to your soul saying, lift your foot, cross over. Move into emptiness of question and answer and question.
Beautiful, thank you. I've got a song for you. It's for all of us. It's not just for David. He's the only one I can talk to. So he's getting all my attention. But I know that there's 22 people here right now. This is called When I Go by a musician called Dave Carter. And Tracy Grammer helped write it. I adapted it slightly because I've played it for people on their deathbeds and I can't unstick that profound experience. I don't want to unstick that profound experience. So I've changed a few of the words to be more feminine. And it's interesting because one of the things about Dave Carter is that after he died, we discovered he was a non-binary person, trans person. So it's a threshold song. Come, lonely hunter, chieftain and queen, I will fly like the falcon when I go. Bear me, my sister, under your wing, I will strike fell like lightning when I go. I will bellow like the thunder drum, invoke a storm of war, a twisted pillar spun of dust and blood up from the prairie floor. I will sweep the foe before me like a gale out on the snow, and the wind will long recount the story of reverence and glory when I go. Spring spirit dancer, nimble and thin, I will leap like coyote when I go. Tireless entrancer, lend me your skin, and I will run like the grey wolf when I go. I'll climb the rise at daybreak, I'll kiss the sky at noon, raise my yearning voice at midnight to my mother in the moon. I will make the lay of long defeat and draw the chorus slow. I'll send this message down the wire and hope that someone wise is listening when I go. And when the sun comes trumpeting from his red house in the east, he will find a standing stone where long I chanted my release. He will send his morning messenger to strike that hammer blow, and I will crumble down uncountable in showers of crimson rubies when I go. Sigh, mournful sister, whisper and turn, I will rattle like the dry leaves when I go. Stand in the mist where my fire used to burn, and I'll camp out on the night breeze when I go. And should you glimpse my wandering form out on the borderline between death and resurrection and the council of the pines, do not worry for my comfort, do not sorrow for me so. All my diamond tears will rise up and adorn the sky beside me when I go. You'll be there right beside me when I go. An interesting song. Supposedly, Dave received it in a dream shortly before he had a very unexpected sudden heart thing that caused him to die, and shortly before that he received the whole song, which is quite remarkable. Now, is anything bubbling up? Because if not, there's the other threshold of birth right on the side of that threshold of death.
Well, I was headed into the darkness first.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
I suppose birth can, yeah. And the reason I want to go there now, Simon, is that, part of what we're so afraid of in this culture is the unknowing. We want to be creatures of light. We talk about that all the time. We want to be light for each other. That's right. And yet, what we too often ignore is the wisdom that comes from actually sitting with what is when we're at threshold moment, which I have experienced as a great darkness, a place where my normal eyes can't see, where my normal landmarks have disappeared. We commonly in this culture talk about the dark night of the soul if we're depressed. But when John experienced that and wrote about it, what he really was saying was, all the stuff that we're used to that usually works for us, our spiritual practice, our friendships, our employment, all those things that usually pull us along just aren't satisfying us anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And when we're in that kind of darkness, it's so easy to be paralyzed by it. One of the great friends of the darkness was Rilke. And I brought us this poem tonight as a threshold poem. You know it. I think we've all heard it in some version. This is Robert Bly's translation. I studied with Robert much of my life. He was a great teacher for me and for the kind of work that we love to do. So this is Robert's translation. If you're a Rilke person and you have a copy of the Book of Hours, it's poem number 5. Poem goes like this. You, darkness, he addresses the darkness. You, darkness, that I come from. I love you more than all the fires that fence in the world. For the fire makes a circle of light for everyone. And then no one outside learns of you. But the darkness pulls in everything. Shapes and fires, animals, and myself. How easily it gathers them, powers and people, and it's possible a great energy is moving near me. I have faith in nights. I'll do it again really quickly this time. You, darkness that I came from, I love you more than all the fires that fence in the world. For the fire makes a circle of light for everyone, and then no one outside learns of you. Darkness. But the darkness pulls in everything, shapes and fires, animals, and myself. How easily it gathers them, powers and people, and it is possible A great energy is moving near me. I have faith in nights.
I want us all to sing about that. I'm going to give you some lyrics. Into the dark womb of night, we rest, we breathe, we watch. The mystery draws us inward as we wait for the light to return. Into the winter of earth, the seeds have fallen away. The roots in the ground reclaim their life, retreating to rest in the soil. Into the dark womb of night, we rest, we breathe, we watch. The mystery draws us inward as we wait for the light to return. Into the winter of earth, the seeds have fallen away. The roots in the ground reclaim their life, retreating to rest in the soil. And into the dark womb of night, we rest, we breathe, we watch. We rest, we breathe, we watch. We rest, we breathe, we watch. I'll bring David up. I want to tell you that there's Psalm 139. It's just jumping out at me, and I wasn't planning on sharing it. It's not surprising that I'm listening to our conversation through the lens of the Psalms, because the whole reason that David and I started working together, the reason that we've got this event tonight, is in preparation for our webinar series we're doing on the Psalms. And the very first Psalm I ever got to know, David, was 139. Oh God, you search me and you know me. All my thoughts lie open to your gaze. When I walk or lie down, you are before me, ever the maker and keeper of my days. And it has a line in it later about, God, you made me. The dark is not dark to you. And you made me in my mother's womb. And I'm constantly coming across new translations of the Psalms through other musicians and poets. And Abbey of the Arts had a new translation of that I read recently. And it was, God, you knit me in the dark in my mother's womb. And I was really thinking about that as we were doing this. So maybe I'll go get that psalm for us to sing. But David, is anything sparking for you, my friend?
You know, David White has been a champion of the soul for a long time. And for some reason, you just reminded me of this poem. So let me sing it to you. I'll read it to you. It's called Sweet Darkness. David, of course, was great friends with John O'Donoghue, and the two of them caused a lot of mischief, but also a lot of anchoring into what we celebrate tonight. And I think it's a welcome message in response here. Sweet darkness. When your eyes are tired, the world is tired too. And we know that one, right? When we're depressed and exhausted, when we can't see, then everything just seems depressed and dark and without energy. When your eyes are tired, the world is tired also. When your vision has gone, no part of the world can find you. Time to go into the dark where the night has eyes to recognize its own. There you can be sure you are not beyond love. The dark will be your womb tonight. The night will give you a horizon further than you can see. You must learn one thing. The world was made to be free in. Give up all the other worlds except the one to which you belong. Sometimes it takes darkness and the sweet confinement of your aloneness to learn anything or anyone that does not bring you alive is too small for you. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
So again, this sense that this place of resting is also a kind of womb, if we will let it be. A place where we can imagine what is yet to come. And through that imagination, give birth to ourselves once again. Yeah, David's great poem.
Perfect. This is Psalm 139, the very first one that grabbed my attention back in about 2006. This is set to music by Bernadette Farrell. Oh God, you search me and you know me. All my thoughts lie open to your gaze. When I walk or lie down, you are before me, ever the maker and keeper of my days. And you know my resting and my rising. You discern my purpose from afar. And with love everlasting you beseech me. In every moment of life or death you are. And before a word was on my tongue, Lord, you have known its meaning through and through. You are with me beyond my understanding, God of my present, my past and future too. And although your spirit is upon me, still I search for shelter from your light. But there is nowhere on earth I can escape you, 'cause even the darkness is radiant in your sight. For you created me and shaped me, gave me life within my mother's womb. For the wonder of who I am, I praise you. Safe in your hands, all creation is made new. So thresholds for me are so much about the sunrise and the sunset, that transition before night and just at the end of night. And I did a little bit of snooping today on the internet to discover that I have been breathing air for 17,297 days. So that means there's been 17,297 sunrises and sunsets. And how many of those have I attended to, especially sunrises? I hate mornings. Not very many. And one thing I remember about my friend Warren, who was younger than me, but in the last few days before he died, well, months actually, he would always attend to the sunset and the sunrise. And he would leave us, those who were full of the living, in the house to work out what to do. And he would go off to be with his beloved nature. He was a water protector. He was many things. The thresholds for me are a way of holding my life and bringing eternity in the moment. Like it's like the thresholds are little moments where we are able to slip through time and into that place that is all of time. Like if you think of time as a spiral. I often talk about this when it comes to the cross-quarter days like Imbolc or the equinoxes, that each time those moments come around like the winter solstice, it drops down or up through time to all the other holy moments. The solstices and the pagan cross-quarter days have been very holy to me for a long time, and I often remember where I was at the different times as if it was only a month ago. Meanwhile, the concept of me swimming out in the pond from the last midsummer, I don't believe that at all. It's completely untouchable. But the time I was at Findhorn for midsummer is just a moment away, even though it was 15 years ago. So thresholds for me are this magical tool that are very important. And yeah. David, I'm going to pass the talking baton to you in case anything's bubbling up. David, I tried to unmute you just as you tried to unmute yourself. I'm really sorry. I'm going to leave your controls alone. I let go of my hands.
Thank you. It's nice to be at cross purposes. I was just laughing. I was saying, how about a little Dostoevsky? I thought that would. Here's a little prayer from Brothers Karamazov. I just happened to find it. I think this is Father Zosima, but I'm not recalling. I scribbled this down, and my source isn't that good, but we'll pretend it's his. He says, "Love all creation." I'm riffing on what you just said, Simon. Love all creation, the whole of it, and every grain of sand. Love every leaf, every ray of God's light. Love the animals, love the plants, love everything. If you love everything, you will perceive the divine mystery in things. And once you have perceived it, you will begin to comprehend it ceaselessly, more and more every day. And you will at last come to love the whole world with an abiding universal love. Love all creation, the whole of it, and every grain of sand. So what happens if we listen? Sometimes we wake up in these times of darkness when our hearts are broken. We realize we have a great heart. When we're in the middle of loss, we realize we're suffering because we've loved. As we pray for so many in distress tonight, we also pray with the whole of us because we're broken too. And through that brokenness comes this great capacity to love if we will be steady in that threshold place and not run away and not suppress it, not turn on another Netflix show so that we don't have to look at it, although we love the Netflix shows. But really are to love all of it, every grain of sand of it. So
I got a song for us. This is Psalm 8, interpretation by Christine Robinson. It's quite short. Maybe I'll sing it twice. Many named one, beyond imagining. When I contemplate the night sky, the cosmos which all unfolded from a speck, galaxies, stars, this beautiful earth. Who are we humans that you attend to us? Mere mortals in our tiny corner, and you love us. We are life come to knowing and feeling. The whole world is in our hands. Plants and animals, oceans and ice caps, rainforest and ecosystem. Touch our hearts, O God, make us worthy of this trust. Help us care for life on this beautiful earth. Amen. Many named one beyond imagining. When I contemplate the night sky, the cosmos which all unfolded from a speck, galaxies, stars, this beautiful earth. Who are we humans that you attend to us? Mere mortals in our tiny corner, and you love us. We are life come to knowing and feeling. The whole world is in our hands. Plants and animals, oceans and ice caps, rainforest and ecosystem. Touch our hearts, O God, make us worthy of this trust. Help us care for life on this beautiful earth. Amen. David, I'm going to hog the microphone for a little bit because I really want to sing about saying yes to this. This is my setting of the Magnificat. My soul shall praise and magnify you, Lord. Yes, I will come. Yes, I have come. I hear your voice is calling out my name into my life. You shall be born. All generations praise to hold with me the sacred heart, my beating heart. And my soul shall praise and magnify you, Lord. Yes, I will come. Yes, I have come. And the proud cannot hear beyond their words, their thoughts enclosed, so stale and old. And the rich cannot receive what they don't own, this emptiness, the spaciousness. And all generations praise to hold with me the sacred heart, my beating heart. And my soul is placed into this fire of love. Yes, it becomes God's will be done. Spread out the feast, let those in hunger come. Your face be shown, your love made known. And the humble hear your voice, with you they sing. Magnificat, Magnificat. And all generations praise to hold with me the sacred heart, my beating heart. And my soul is placed into this fire of love. Yes, it becomes God's will be done. Reach out to touch the world that is to come. Magnificat, 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 Magnificat.
It's not a lot left to say, is there? Thank you. You know, the last time I heard you sing that song, it was in me for weeks. Every step I took was a prayer of Magnificat. I have a responsibility, which is to give voice to another kind of Magnificat, which is the poem. I just realized that this is the poem in a more human, immediate,
I love that. Please.
imploring.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you do what we do, you tend to have. I mean, Simon's always got lots of music with him, and I've always got lots of poems. And I'm not that organized, so I tend to have lots of copies of poems in various notebooks, things that I travel with and speak from, or just use for my own Magnificat, my own place of deepening and praise. You know, poetry is a kind of music too, and we listen to poems because they reach down into us, and just like music does. It's less important that we understand them literally than it is to experience the words and the vibration of the words that the poets pulled, that we can be in resonance with something that is urgent or deep or soul making from the words of the poet, from the words of the stillness. And if you've been at this work for a while, which all of you have been, you would know that there's a kind of synchronicity that happens when you listen for it. When you're at those threshold moments, particularly, one thing to be awake to is synchronicity. I wouldn't have chosen this poem for this evening, but as I was gathering a few things that might be read tonight, I came upon this poem in various notebooks, not once, not twice, but 4 times. And then this morning, a 5th time, a book fell open, and it was this poem of Mary Oliver's. So it says to me that there's someone in our room tonight that needs to hear this poem. And so, trying to be responsible to that, I'll read it. It's called The Journey. You may know this. It was one of the first Mary Olivers that I read, but we don't read it much anymore. Here it is, its own kind of Magnificat, I think. It's called The Journey. One day, she says, one day you finally knew what you had to do and began. You know, we sit in these dark places, in these threshold places, and if we have the patience, sometimes we have a moment like the poem suggests. One day you finally knew what you had to do and began. Though the voices around you kept shouting their bad advice, though the whole house began to tremble, and you felt the old tug at your ankles. Mend my life, each voice cried. But you didn't stop. You knew what you had to do, though the wind pried with its stiff fingers at the very foundations, though their melancholy was terrible. It was already late enough, and a wild wind, and the road full of fallen branches and stones. But little by little, as you left their voices behind, the stars began to burn through the sheets of clouds, and there was a new voice which you slowly recognized as your own. A voice that kept you company as you strode deeper and deeper into the world, determined to do the only thing you could do, determined to save the only life you could save. Amen. Do you have room for one more, and then I'll be quiet?
Absolutely.
This one
There's
also
oh,
just popped up, and
I pressed
and
the wrong
it's
button.
it's kind of a nice companion. It's kind of a lovely companion. Whoops. This is by William Stafford, who I also consider to be a teacher, though I never met Bill. I know him through Bly. They were good friends. This is called A Story That Could Be True. And maybe there's somebody here tonight that needs this poem as well. Story That Could Be True, William Stafford's poem. If you were exchanged in the cradle and your real mother died without telling the story, then no one knows your name. And somewhere in the world your father is lost and needs you, but you are far away. Got the image? If you were exchanged in the cradle, I love that. If you were exchanged in the cradle and your real mother died without ever telling the story, then no one knows your name, and somewhere in the world your father is lost and needs you, but you are far away. He can never find how true you are, how ready. When the great wind comes and the robberies of the rain, you stand on the corner shivering. The people who go by, you wonder at their calm. They miss the whisper that runs any day in your mind. Who are you really, wanderer? And the answer you have to give, no matter how dark and cold the world around you is, maybe I'm a king. Maybe I'm a queen. a story that could be true.
Sovereignty. It's one of the words I've been exploring a lot over the last year as I've been singing songs to
Mm.
Mary as Virgin, whole unto herself. What does that mean? Sovereignty. I'd love to sing Rising Green. I don't know if you know this one either. Some of you will. It's by Carolyn McDade. I think I'll try and post the words into the chat. Let's see if... no, it's too many words. Let me try it in 2 parts. Ah, yes. Sovereignty. My soul rises deep in the roots of yon oak. The sap doth run in my veins. Endless my soul rides the open sky, where the stars forever have lain. Where the stars, where the stars, where the stars forever have lain. My hands hold the weavings of time without end. My sight as deep as the sea. Great is the sound that goes deep in my heart, that of love's eternity. That of love, that of love, that of love's eternity. And I feel the tides as they answer the moon, rushing on for distant sands. Oh, wondrous my feet settle deep in the earth, rising green to bring a new day. Rising green, rising green, rising green to bring a new day. Rising green, rising green, rising green to bring a new day. Oh, this has been really exquisite for me. Thank you, David, for coming and sharing poems that speak to your soul of transitions and thresholds. And we're almost at time, and I know that you have a beautiful ending Celtic prayer for us. And I could sing us a Celtic blessing as well. Would you like to do yours first? Or should I share? And just before I get there, please click the green button below to find out about our webinar series. If you can't afford it, write to SDI and ask for a scholarship. They give them out even if you're not a member of SDI. David, do you want me to sing the blessing first, or do you want to share? You're muted, so I don't know what you're saying.
It's tricky, that one. I think it just doesn't want me to talk. I think it's tired of my words and it just cuts me off. No, I was saying I will read it first, and I was also saying we're just so thrilled that SCI trusts us with this. So we're going to just think about the Psalms as a way of entering the soul more deeply, and to be an exquisite way, a practice that we can offer to one another, to ourselves, and to those who work with us. So, and you don't have to even have read the Psalms. We're just going to read some things together and sing some things together and practice a little and swim in that beauty together. Let the beauty that we love be what we do.
Yeah.
One of the great lovers of this work is John O'Donoghue. We miss John. He died too soon. He wrote a blessing for the new year, and this is the new year, so let's receive that blessing. There's a word in this poem which is karach, which is a kind of big boat. And so when you hear that, you'll know that that's what the word means, big boat. This is called a blessing for the new year. On the day when the weight deadens on your shoulders and you stumble, may the clay dance to balance you. And when your eyes freeze behind the gray window and the ghost of loss gets into you, may a flock of colors, indigo, red, green, and azure blue, come to awaken in you a meadow of delight. When the canvas frays in the crook of thought, and a stain of ocean blackens beneath you, may there come across the waters a path of yellow moonlight to bring you safely home. May the nourishment of the earth be yours. May the clarity of light be yours. May the fluency of the ocean be yours. May the protection of the ancestors be yours. And so may a slow wind work these words of love around you. An invisible cloak to mind your life. And so may a slow wind work these words of love around you. An invisible cloak to mind your life. Amen.
Amen. Deep peace of the running wave to you. Deep peace of the flowing air to you. Deep peace of the quiet earth to you. Deep peace of the shining stars to you. Deep peace of the child of peace to you. And moon and stars pour their healing light on you. La 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 la. Deep peace of the running wave to you. Deep peace of the flowing air to you. Deep peace of the quiet earth to you. Deep peace of the shining stars to you. Deep peace of the child of peace to you. And moon and stars pour their healing light on you. Oh, I just want to say thank you to everybody for coming. What's special, it's been really tender and healing for me and true to share this space with so many people, including you, David. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Simon. Thank you. And thank you for that closing blessing one more time.
So there's people that don't have anybody to sing to them or to remind them of their soul. You know, this Anam Cara work, this work of midwifing the soul of one another. So let's send a light out to those this night that need it. Amen. Yeah. Well, good night, everybody. Be well. We're going to love you and leave you now. Bye.